Today we're putting our mate and chef Kush up against another fairer challenge.
The community have spoken, the last results are void. This time I just want you, Spaff.
So today we're asking the question, can a chef cook carrying 50% extra body weight?
Hey, this is so weird.
So realistically, they've just brought you up to my weight. So this should be fairly even.
Yeah, but you've been on a diet recently and go to the gym often. I'm just carrying this around.
You think I'm not just carrying this around?
It's a struggle to stand up and stand still at the moment, Jay. Let's be honest. I'm panting and we haven't even started cooking yet.
And do some lunges. His ankle.
Oh.
Your ankle went.
Yeah.
Let's get cooking.
Yeah, meatball marinara sub.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
I mean, there's nothing here.
Oh. Oh.
It's not often I feel light and sprightly in this kitchen, but I've been to the fridge. I've got myself some
I can't put that
pork.
down because I can't reach it.
Got myself some pork and some beef short ribs. Gonna grind them up. The start of our meatballs.
Oh.
You all right, mate?
Oh, whose idea was this? Right, I'm going to do what Jay's doing and essentially mix together some pork and beef to make a meatball mix. I'm going to add some other flavours in it as well. Oh, like herbs, spices, some garlic, some onion. But let's get the meat going. What I'm doing here is cutting the pork into slices because you don't want to dice it before you mince it because that just sets you back. If you put it into slices, the screw will naturally pull the meat through. If you dice it, you've got to force it through with your hand, and that takes a lot of energy.
Come on, come on, come on, last bit. So I don't know how to make the perfect meatballs, so I'm just going to go with a way of making meatballs. I've got a split of pork and beef mince. I'm going to go in with onion, garlic, a little bit of parmesan, some herbs. Some people use breadcrumbs, but I have read that using wet bread actually stops the breadcrumbs from absorbing moisture from the meat, making for a wetter, more tasty, more tender meatball. Let's give it a go.
So what I've done is, to negate having to chop most things, I've run it all through the grinder. I've gone for pork belly and pork shoulder to balance the fat, short rib. I've made a quick panade by putting ciabatta through the mincer with the grated onion, an egg, parmesan, oregano, fennel seeds, parsley. Oh,
I could do that. Let's do that. Oh, really good idea. Didn't wet the breadcrumbs, did I? Just add a little bit of water on top of the breadcrumbs.
I've ground a set beef stock jelly through my meatballs to give it that lovely juiciness. That's a little tip I learned online. Salt, pepper, and now I'm going to beat it with the machine to get it nice and sticky and homogeneous. I want a firm but tender meatball.
Right, you're an idiot. A little bit of milk.
A little bit of milk. Oh, I didn't put any milk in mine. A splash of milk.
Right, I need to clear up that egg that I've really dropped.
Oh. And I'm going to microwave it just to quickly cook it. I'm not going to get a pan hot, that's a waste of time. Just want to taste the seasoning, so about a minute in the microwave. Ugh. Are you making the same mix as me, Spaff?
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Seems like it. I don't think this would be this hard.
At this stage, I think we're going hands in. Hands in.
But oh, look at that. Bit too much salt, so I'm going to put a bit more meat in it to balance it out.
Oh, it's quite wet, isn't it? Might need a bit more bread.
I'm going to guess that that's seasoned fine now. I've added another 300 grams of meat to it, so taking the salt down a touch. But you want it quite highly seasoned. It's going in a sandwich, and the bread doesn't taste of much really, so I'm fine with that.
That's a better consistency.
Well, stay there.
Right.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
However,
As always, I don't have in my head the perfect way to make meatballs, so I'm just making it up as I go along. And so therefore I'm slightly worried that I don't have the perfect way of doing it.
one thing I say about you, Jay, is you're quite an intuitive cook. You can get away with no plan.
That's quite
The other
nice.
normals can't.
It's nice of you to say.
It's the truth.
Sort of golf ball sized balls. We'll get those frying in some oil in a minute. That's bigger than the last one, isn't it?
Are you baking yours?
We'll come on to that, won't we?
All right. So consistency-wise, you can see my balls are a lot softer than Spaff's balls.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
You've got fennel seeds through yours as well?
I have.
So Spaff has learnt from me during this and basically making the same recipe. But that's fine. I'm all about people learning. These don't have to be that evenly shaped because I've got a secret of getting even better flavour and texture in the sandwich later. I just want to get them in the pan and cooked. I can take a sit down. If I lie down, I won't be able to stand up.
So here's my plan. I'm gonna get my balls cooking in some oil on a pan, get them browned off. I want that lovely crispy outside, and then I'm gonna chuck them into a baking tray, into the oven to cook through. Did I preheat my pan? No. Should I have preheated my pan? Yes.
Gone into a pan with a bit of oil, get a load of colour on them. I'm gonna just flatten them lightly. It'll help building the sandwich later. These are gonna be very juicy because remember, I added the gelatinised beef stock into the mixture. While they're cooking, I'll get my marinara sauce on the go. I'm gonna do it in a frying pan for speed. Bit of olive oil. I'm gonna go garlic, really good San Marzano tomatoes, finish it with some basil, oregano, maybe some chili flake, give it a bit of warmth.
Whilst they start to fry, let's talk about marinara sauce.
Oh, here we go.
Onion, garlic, tomato. I want a really deep, rich tomato sauce in the time that we've got, which I don't think is much. How much time have we got? Good chat.
I think my meatballs might have stuck a bit, but non-stick pan. Yeah. Right, in the oven they go. They'll cook through.
Now, did I learn from my frying pan mistake and preheat the pan for my marinara sauce? Aruna's already shaking his head. He knows the answer. Absolutely not. Anyway, here we are.
Lightly golden garlic. Gonna go in with the best San Marzano tomatoes. Only need a little bit. Pinch of oregano, classic. A bit like a pizza sauce this will be. And for seasoning, beef stock cubes.
You all right?
I just stood up. I want to make a pesto. That's something really vibrant. So I'm going to use a chefy trick of blanching the herbs. I need to add some acidity to this sauce because the tomatoes are so sweet. But I know all the vinegars are over there, so I might not bother.
Onion, garlic, pancetta, frying off in a pan. I'm going to go in with some tomato paste. Need to find some chopped tomatoes of some sort. And then I thought maybe a little bit of sweetness from some ketchup, maybe a little bit of sriracha for a little bit of heat. Want to get some fresh herbs in there. I've seen some basil, maybe some oregano. I think we're good. And my balls are well crisped, so going into an oven to cook through.
Oh no, where's the bottom of this machine? I don't want to bend down again. I don't want to do this, Daddy.
Chopped tomatoes.
Back into the mini chopper, so I can't be bothered to go get the stick blender base. I want some parmesan in there, bit of oil, bit of salt. Oh, that does not look good. So it's really wet because I didn't use a stick blender and it hasn't like emulsified with the oil and parmesan. So it looks more like a drizzle for a plate. It is delicious and fresh though, so I will use it.
Just adding in everything now. Finding flavour where I can. This is HP sauce.
The timer for my meatballs has gone off. I hope they're cooked. That saves the journey back to put them back in. They look rough, but they are cooked. Bit of salt in the sauce, and yeah, it does need acidity and a bit of sweetness actually. One of my favourites, crispy fried garlic for a bit more punch, and then ketchup. I missed. Spafford's using my stock jelly cubes. I was saying our. He didn't see them earlier, but they are very salty, Jay.
Okay, I'm gonna let that cook down for as long as possible. In the meantime, whilst I think just toasted bread could be nice, what if it was garlic bread?
15 minutes to go. gonna get the grill on and then toast the bread and then do the cheeses.
What silly grater?
What are you trying to do? What's that?
That was garlic.
Oh yeah! I want to whisper this because otherwise Jamie's just going to do the same thing. Let's do a test. I'm going to use some smoked scamorza because it melts really wonderfully.
Can I just point out, you know what cheeses we've got, whereas I have zero. Do we have provolone?
Yes!
Well, I'll be using that then.
I'm using it as well.
No, you can't use that as well. Pick a lane.
Why provolone?
Because of its melty qualities.
Oh, you've got the sliced cheese and I've got the cheese that I've got to slice. Wafer thin, there's already enough fat in the mince.
I need to melt this butter, so it's going into my oven. Whoa, 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 whoa! Even I've not tasted that yet. I was waiting for it to cool down a little bit.
I can tell.
Yep. Really friendly. That sauce is actually top.
Oh.
That sauce is fantastic.
Are you making garlic bread?
No, mate.
This grill is not grilling. Oh. We're gonna go straight on that because that grill isn't working. Toast it. So I didn't want to add any more fat to the fatty meatballs and the olive oil heavy sauce. So I'm just rubbing the garlic over the charred bread to give it some flavour. Not making garlic butter.
Garlic butter on my bread, going into the oven, toast off for a few minutes, blend our sauce, find some toppings. Job's a good one. Slightly thick marinara sauce, but I think that's okay for a sandwich. It's got a banging flavour to it. I think once I start to add the balls in and then add some stuff on the top of the sandwich, I think we're going to be good. Let's get our balls in our sauce.
Back in the oven, melt the cheese, bring it out, serve it, done.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. Ow.
Here's what I'm thinking. Garlic bread, some basil leaves. Garlic bread, basil leaves. Balls with sauce, cheese over the top, melt that, and then on top of that, I'm gonna go with a few gherkins and some pickled jalapenos. That just a little bit of spice, something to crunch through, I think it's just gonna add the texture difference and make my meatball marinara the best meatball marinara. I know it's something we always ask, Kush, but whose silly idea actually was this?
Well, pretty sure Mike was meant to be in this video, but
Thumbnail.
he had to do a thumbnail.
Back in the oven to melty melt for a couple of minutes. Final construction.
Let's build it on the plate. I'm done.
You're done?
Yep. Even made a pesto, mate.
Yes.
The easiest part of my body to move is my head, so I'll just observe from down here. Got a very nice view from here of Spafford. He's been working out.
Oh God. Oh God.
Is it stuck to the tray?
No. And that's a meatball marinara spaffed.
High five. Let's get these in the sexies while we all sit down, have a cup of tea.
You won't get back up.
Oh. How was that?
You look like you've had a weight lifted off you.
Oh, it's nice to be out of the restraints.
Yeah?
That's for sure, yeah. Feel my ankles again.
The thing is, you massively put us through it in every single Taste It, Make It that we do.
Well, the last one, you had such a bad time, I thought we'd go easy on you and give you a meatball sub to try and make. Because we didn't need more toys on the floor out of your pram. So I'm glad you're here with me.
Let's cut into yours, give it a taste, and
Yeah.
then we'll cut into mine.
Never do this at home. Here, oh, that is so much lighter than it was earlier.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
The pesto adds something completely different to a meatball marinara.
But all meatball marinara subs need some green, right?
Yeah, I've got basil leaves, but you've done something magnificent with them.
I just blended them.
I just chucked them in.
I can see that, Jay. I wanted to keep it, I had to keep it simple, let's say that. I was getting tired very quickly. So focus on the meatballs, a simple sauce, a simple green, I wouldn't say pesto, a green, and my favourite cheese, smoked scamorza, which I think goes nicely with it.
To me, this is where the challenges really come into their own, because you know exactly what you're doing, but you have a restriction. I have a restriction in the fact I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to make it up as I'm going along, but I have all of my senses and all of my abilities.
You got your ears,
Yeah.
so you can listen to what I'm doing.
Oh no, don't
And add a bit of it in. No.
Don't call it
but
cheating.
It's not cheating, not at all. If I had a better chef next to me telling the audience what he was doing, I'd put some of that in my food.
That is a massively great effort.
Remember, this wasn't a blindfold battle, so you got to see what that looked like when you were plating it up, right?
If you're not getting messy when you're eating a sandwich, what's the point of eating a sandwich?
Just do it naked, easy to shower off.
Oh God, it's so greasy. I put a lot of garlic butter on both sides of the bread.
So you made a garlic bread sandwich.
Yeah.
Hot to my arteries.
Now I want your thoughts, your honest thoughts.
Well, there's the two sides to every coin. On one side, the chef in me says, wow, that's greasy. On the other side, the slightly overweight dad in me says, that's absolutely delicious. More the overweight dad than I am the chef, so well done indeed.
I think what we both did was try and find that little bit extra that takes a meatball marinara to another level by adding different flavours in. You went for your green.
Green.
I went for green in the form of pickles, basil leaves, and jalapenos.
Yeah, the jalapenos and the pickles, for me, don't scream meatball marinara sub. But when you go to a famous Subway shop,
Subway.
you can put whatever you want on a sandwich. That's a hero of a sandwich. Get it?
It's so greasy.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get
yeah,
it because hero is another name for a. Yeah.
Yeah.
Far too much garlic butter, but do you know what? I'm actually really happy with how the meatballs came out. The sauce, I think, is good, and I like the accompaniment. Honestly, it is incredible to see what you're able to achieve, even when we give you a massive restriction.
The bare minimum, I think.
I don't think that's the bare minimum at all. I think that's great.
Yeah, but by my standards, that's the bare minimum.
But hey, no sabotage.
No sabotage and
Sabotage.
free exercise.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Comment down below, let us know which sandwich do you think you would like to eat the most, plus what restrictions should we add to Kush next time?
What next time?
Next time.
Which next time?
The next time that we do one of these.
I think James should do this instead of me. Right?
I don't think James has been cocky enough to say, I can beat you when I do this.
It's not cocky. Confidence.